the darkest path to my aunt's place. It was a chilly evening. We were just resting after dinner when she called, asking if I could go, keep her company since she was alone. I had always been scared of visiting my aunt at her home in the deep woods. It was an ancient mansion surrounded by trees and darkness. The only way to reach it was a narrow path that seemed to get darker and darker. I was just a little girl, and from where I come from, we couldn't argue with the seniors. It was just a few kilometers from home. At around 0800 hours, I set off on a journey. I took a deep breath and stepped out of the house quietly, and I had a friend with me, our dog. He used to follow me around, and I hated it, but this time I knew I was safer with him around. A few meters from the gate, there was this medium bush at the center of the path. But with my imagination and fear, I could see that it was a moving thing. I felt a chill in the air and heard strange noises all around me. I kept reminding myself why I was here for me to keep going, but I couldn't stop shaking. At the back of my head, I knew it was all my imagination. Past the bush, I could tease myself, how can a small bush make me break out in a cold sweat? Every step counted, with my eyes rolling all around, until I got to a certain valley where all hell broke loose. It was a big valley full of darkness, bushes, and some flowing water because it was a rainy season. The valley was a wild place, full of dense bushes and tall trees. It was a place of mystery and adventure, a place that could be both dangerous and beautiful at the same time, depending on the time you visited. The river was just around the corner, and I could hear the sounds of flowing water. My fear was that this was the hippopotamus-infested area, and they feed at night. Hippopotamuses often visited our area. I don't know from where, but they were all around during the rainy season, and you could meet one when you least expected it. I had been walking through the valley for what felt like hours. I had been drawn to the area by a strange feeling, an urge to explore. As I walked, I noticed a cave in the distance. It was dark and mysterious, and I felt compelled to explore it. Slowly, I made my way to the entrance of the cave. Once I was there, I paused, hesitant to proceed. What if something was lurking inside? But my curiosity carried the day, and I stepped inside. The cave was dark and damp. There were strange sounds coming from all around me, the sounds of frogs, birds, etc. I could feel a chill in the air. I slowly made my way through, feeling my way around the darkness. Eventually, I came across a small pool of water in the middle of the cave. The water was still and clear, and in it, I could make out a reflection of the moonlight shining in from outside. I knelt down and touched the water, feeling its coolness on my skin. Suddenly, a bright light filled the cave, and I realized that the moonlight was reflecting off something within the pool. I reached into the water and pulled out a shimmering crystal. It was the most beautiful thing I had ever seen, and I knew I had to take it with me. I tucked it away in my pocket and made my way back out of the cave. As I emerged from the cave, I felt a sense of peace and clarity. I knew I had found something special in the valley, and I felt like I had been given a gift for my boldness. Full of joy and fear, I kept walking. From the direction I was heading, I could hear the cut of glass. At this time my dog left me with its tail between its legs, I guess, back home. I was left alone. I started weighing whether I could go back or proceed since I was just about to reach my aunt's place. As I walked toward the cut of glass, I heard a loud growl and saw a giant, skeptical glance beast standing before me. I had never seen such a creature before. I was mesmerized and frightened. I took a few steps back, but the animal didn't move. I didn't know whether to run or just stand still as I waited for my death. The hippo just kept staring at me, its eyes boring into mine. I was scared and confused, but I didn't want to move and risk provoking it. For the longest few minutes of my life, in my mind, I was preparing 1,000 possibilities of what I could do, but nothing could break the deafening silence. At that moment, I was sure the hippo was studying my every move and every breath. Finally, the hippo seemed to take a step back, perhaps out of exhaustion, and I took a deep breath, releasing a flood of emotions. I moved cautiously forward. The hippo then slowly stepped away, until finally, I found myself on the clear ground again. I then knew that the hippo had been showing its appreciation for my presence, perhaps as an offering of peace. The few minutes I and the hippo shared in the darkness felt like an eternity, but it was a priceless memory. That marked the end of my fears. I ran as fast as if it were going out of style idiom. It was around 1100 hours. When I reached my aunt's place, she was praying for my protection. I had a life-changing experience in just a few hours, and I couldn't wait to share it with my family, but no one believed me. But with my crystal, I had something to remind me every day how brave I was.